Welcome back. A family traveling to give their late mother a dignified burial never imagined that the journey would end in terror. Instead of arriving safely to mourn together, they were reportedly ambushed by armed kidnappers on a highway in Benue State. While the kidnappers have now released the commercial driver, returned the body of the deceased woman, and freed one of her children, two siblings remain in captivity. The adopters are now demanding a staggering 30 million naira ransom before they will release the remaining victims. This disturbing incident raises an important question. How have Nigerian highways become so dangerous that even families traveling to bury a loved one are no longer safe? And as kidnappings continue across different states, are security efforts keeping pace with the tactics of increasingly organized criminal gangs? The latest incident has once again placed the spotlight on the growing insecurity affecting ordinary Nigerians who simply want to travel without fear of being attacked. According to a report by Daily Post, the victims were traveling from Abuja to Oklenye in Okpoko local government area of Benue State to bury their late mother. During the journey, their vehicle reportedly developed a mechanical fault along the Otukpo-Ogobia road, leaving the family stranded. Before help could arrive, heavily armed gunmen allegedly emerged from the surrounding area and ambushed the helpless travelers, forcing them into the bush and taking them hostage. The incident quickly spread fear throughout the local community and among relatives waiting for their family to arrive for the funeral. Instead of preparing for burial arrangements, loved ones suddenly found themselves desperately searching for information about the whereabouts of their missing family members. What was supposed to be a day of mourning had suddenly become an even greater tragedy, with uncertainty replacing the opportunity to say a final goodbye. Days after the adoption, the family finally received some encouraging news, although it was only a partial relief. According to family members who spoke with Idoma Voice, the kidnappers released the commercial driver who had been traveling with the family. They also handed over the body of the elderly woman whose funeral the family had been traveling to attend. In addition, one of her three children, who had been kidnapped, was also set free by the adopters. The release of the deceased woman's body allowed relatives to continue with funeral arrangements that had been interrupted by the attack. Reports indicate that her remains were taken to Okpoga, where burial rites are already underway. Although the family was grateful to recover her body and proceed with the funeral, the ceremony has reportedly been overshadowed by anxiety because two members of the family remain in the custody of the kidnappers. According to family sources, the kidnappers have now established communication with relatives and are demanding 30 million naira before they will release the remaining two siblings. The demand has placed enormous emotional and financial pressure on the family, who are now trying to raise the money while also appealing to security agencies to intensify rescue efforts. For many families facing similar situations, the dilemma is heartbreaking. They desperately want to save their loved ones while hoping authorities can intervene before ransom payments become the only option. This latest kidnapping once again highlights the growing threat facing travelers on Nigerian highways. Criminal gangs have increasingly targeted motorists traveling through isolated areas, particularly when vehicles slow down because of poor road conditions or suffer mechanical breakdowns. Security experts have repeatedly warned that kidnappers often monitor vulnerable stretches of road, waiting for opportunities to strike unsuspecting travelers who have little chance of escaping once they become stranded. The Otukpo-Ogobia road has attracted security concerns on several occasions, with residents and commuters calling for stronger police and military patrols. Community leaders have repeatedly urged authorities to improve surveillance, increase intelligence gathering, and ensure rapid emergency responses whenever reports of suspicious movements are received. Many believe a stronger and more visible security presence could discourage criminal groups from operating so freely along major highways. The incidents also reflect the emotional devastation kidnapping inflicts on families. Instead of focusing on mourning the loss of their mother, this family is now dividing its attention between funeral arrangements and effort to secure the freedom of two loved ones still being held hostage. Moments that should bring families together in support and remembrance are increasingly becoming opportunities for criminals to exploit vulnerable people for financial gain. Across Nigeria, kidnapping for ransom remains one of the country's most serious security challenges. Victims have included farmers, students, healthcare workers, traditional rulers, business owners, religious leaders, and ordinary travelers. While security agencies continue to record successes in several operations against criminal gangs, incidents like this demonstrate that armed groups still possess the capability to launch attacks on vulnerable targets with alarming frequency. One of the most difficult issues surrounding kidnappings remains the question of ransom payments. Security agencies consistently advise families not to negotiate with kidnappers, arguing that ransom payments strengthen criminal organizations and encourage future attacks. However, for families whose loved ones remain in captivity, the priority is often immediate survival rather than long-term policy considerations. Faced with impossible choices, many relatives feel they have no alternative but to negotiate in the hope of bringing family members home alive. As of the time this report was filed, the Benue State Police Command had not issued an official statement regarding the kidnapping. There has not been no confirmation of any arrest, rescue operations, or ongoing negotiations involving the remaining captives. Families and residents are now looking to security agencies for reassurance that every available effort is being made to secure the release of the two siblings and bring those responsible to justice. For this grieving family, the ordeal is far from over. They have managed to recover the body of their late mother and continue with the burial she deserved. But two of her children remain in the hands of armed kidnappers. Until they are reunited with their family, the mourning cannot truly end. The tragedy serves as another painful reminder that Nigeria's kidnapping crisis continues to leave deep scars on families whose only wish is to live, travel, and mourn their loved ones in peace. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you find this report informative, kindly like, share, and subscribe for more news reports. I'm Chidera Isom. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next reports.